Hello.
Hello.
What should we tell him? The whole world.
Every mother wants their child to have the best that they can have. And in the beginning, it was hard and it was scary. And I thought, okay, he's not going to have much of a life because he's having all these problems. But then I realized that just because your life is different does not mean that it's not a good life. So some of the things, like maybe having a big career or a wife and family, those kind of things have not happened for Chris, but he's got a really good life. He has family that loves him. He has had many opportunities and chances to do things and to travel, and he's had an amazing life. It's just been a different life than what some folks might consider to be normal, or something that you might think you need to be happy, but you don't necessarily need all those things to be happy.
I am church security. I get up here around 6 o'clock to 7:30 every Sunday morning. Main thing I do is I turn on all the lights. Then about 9:30 I get coffee going and I open up all the doors and make sure everything's all right with temperature on the air conditioner. Well, making coffee, even though I don't drink the stuff, I make it for people at Grand Avenue. And when I first didn't know how to make coffee, I used to put 10 scoops of coffee in. People drink it. And someone told me, you're not supposed to put 10 scoops, you're only supposed to put 4. Well, nobody told me. Since I'm up here so early, I have a hobby that I turned into a ministry, and it's making crosses and animals, and I give them to people who come and visit Grand Avenue as a welcome gift. Morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Christmas?
Hi, Chris. I'm Patricia.
I'm Patricia. We got little gifts we give out. I give out to people who visit. I'd like to welcome you to Grand Avenue.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It's just a calling from God.
Chris is central to Grand Avenue Presbyterian Church. He does lots of things around the church. He greets people, he unlocks the doors, he locks up. He offers gifts to people. If you're at Grand Avenue, Chris is going to be one of the first people you meet and see. The uniqueness that Chris brings is his broad sense of love for other people and a sense of purpose through the ministry that he does.
I have been at Grand Avenue Presbyterian Church for a long time. Since I was in college, I have raised my children here, and I've been an elder off and on in various parts of the church in education and worship mostly. And now I've remarried in this church, so it's been a very important part of my life since I've been an adult. The people become part of your family. You just feel very close to people and you're involved with their lives. They're involved with yours, and I believe in what we're doing here. We do a lot of good in the community and try to, be an important part of what's going on in the world. We try to help people, and I like the worship here, and so it's been my home. Chris is a good Christian example to young people and other people that he comes across, and he really does that every day. And I think that's very important, that he's a witness. He lives like Jesus would want us to live. He's very loving, very friendly, and he wants to spread the word of Jesus Christ. And he does that in a number of ways. And I think that's just a great part of Chris, and very part of Grand Avenue too.
Chris is here pretty often anyway, because he has his office down the hall at the church with his Rex lace that he's always working on. I guess in some ways it just seems natural that Chris is here with church and with things that he does here at church, and then he kind of, is a part of Habitat as well. He's made different things for Habitat. For example, he's made keychains that we can present to the families at the house dedication. And he's made little critters that sit on the shelf here in the office so that when kids come in, they can play with them. Habitat for Humanity International was fundraising in all different kinds of ways, including creating cookbooks. And then Chris has been our chief and champion cookbook seller. He has sold 1,150 cookbooks in his career as cookbook salesperson.
I haven't seen you in so long. Are you doing okay?
Yeah. No, I'm just stepping out. She told me to get
My
out.
dealer. He keeps me in candy.
It's kind of amazing how, some people that go through that kind of stuff kind of live their life, in a, depression or whatever, and, they're not very productive. But it's just incredible how Chris, has gone through all these things, and yet he's still able to be so giving and compassionate, and all the things that he does, and with a smile on his face all the time.
He is actually a listener. He'll listen to you, and he actually cares. You can tell people anything, but he genuinely cares.
Sherman is really a small town and doesn't have much games, doesn't have putt-putt, doesn't have any arcades, but it does have Chuck E. Cheese. But that's not my cup of tea because I'm not that age anymore. The very first thing I made from my hobby was normally what most people make is little sticks that are long like this, maybe a little bit longer. But I thought, I'm a Christian, so I took another 2 strings and I put the arms on the crosses. And the cross was one of the very first things I invented. I was at church one Sunday trying to make an angel, and it turned into something else. It ended up being this little critter, which is known as a longhorn. And the longhorn was my very first animal creation. Right after the longhorn was made at church, I was so excited I made Mr. Zebra. Right as I made the zebra, my sister came over, and my very first zebra is in her car. It rides around with her everywhere she goes. So these could be just conversation pieces or your traveling buddies. A couple days later, I challenged myself to make the Austin College Kangaroo. And And then it just went on and on and on. Now, which superhero do you think Chris Johnson is?
Okay, which superhero do I think Chris Johnson is? Okay, so I'm thinking of the Fantastic Four. All right, you have the stretchy guy, right? That's not you. Okay, you have that hot chick. Yeah, that's not you. Then you have that Johnny Flame Torch guy. And that's not you. But you know that the big old guy that's like he's like a rock and like he's like stronger than anything. I think that's you. Yeah. So I see you as the Fantastic Four rock guy. How do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll just call you Elastic Man.
Why would you call me Elastic Man?
Because you just all over.
Thank you.
Sir, can you help us?
Yeah, we have to make it real quick.
Okay.
All right.
I'm looking for a nice plant for my mother for Mother's Day. Can you help me?
I don't know. We have roses.
Show me the roses.
Okay. Roses. You want knockout or Granny Smith?
Green.
I've known Chris Johnson since I was about, I'm gonna say six years old. He was one of the first people at the church that I met. He's very friendly, outgoing, and kind. Very personable, and very sharing. One of the people that would really give the shirts off their back. He unlocks the church for us, and he's helped out with special events, and he just keeps the church safe.
For 12?
No, this one's $19. $20. So it's pretty. Dig a hole, plant it, get some rose mix and some rose food for it. And there's a lot of different kinds of people in this world, and Chris Johnson certainly is one of a kind person, and he's just giving and gives it all and puts his heart out there on the line, and he does stuff for people, without them really telling him to have to do it.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Joy. Joy, she's an awesome person, and just a spectacular person, and the Johnsons are a very good family, so I want to help her get something nice and pretty so that Chris will, it'll grow.
Happy Mother's Day.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Pretty roses.
Yeah.
You love those.
We do.
Thank you.
Hey, you remember that time we were at the live nativity scene? And we were all standing there, and it's very serious and very quiet. And baby Jesus is laying there in the manger. And it's not baby Jesus. It's a little puppet. And that puppet's name is Ringo. And in baby Jesus' mouth is a big old meatball. You remember that?
What's a sausage ball?
A sausage ball, okay. Do you think that was very reverent?
No.
Who did that?
You did.
It wasn't me. I think someone else did it.
Yeah. It was me.
Uh-huh. I think we all got in trouble for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been 34 years since I've been here. And I've seen a lot of people come, and I've enjoyed this business as long as I've been here. Otherwise, I don't think I've lasted this long if I didn't enjoy it. I guess I've known Chris for about 20 years. When he moved on this side of town, he used to come in here when he was working at Goodwill, and he has been coming here ever since, I guess for about 20 years. Matter of fact, when we have our fundraisers, he's probably one of my biggest fundraisers as far as donations. When we have our Children's Miracle Network, he bought 200 balloons, and we had them all decorated up here. I can usually tell what he wants because his favorite is a number one with cheese, plain and dry, and he likes the Diet Coke. Matter of fact, my wife is in a car accident, and she totaled the vehicle, and there are only two things that I kept from that vehicle. One was his cross, and the other one was just a memento to remember the vehicle, and it's still in the car. Maybe that was the grace of God that she survived the crash, you know? You never know. God puts people in our lives that we just don't realize most of the time, but I think there's a reason why you came into my life. Not only do you make me realize that how fortunate I am to know someone of your nature, of your caring personality, and how you are about giving of yourself. I've taken that to heart, and I really appreciate not only just the customer, you're a very good friend. I just want to tell you thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I've been through some times in my life where not everybody wanted to be my friend, and where I felt alone. And this guy right here was one of my only friends in the entire world. And like other people have said, he just listens. And on some of my worst days, when I just needed someone to hang out with, there he was. He was always available, always there. And he didn't judge me. He didn't say I need to change who I am. He just listened, And I will never forget that. I will never forget his compassion for me, his love for me, when no one else cared to give me the time of day.
This place is Art from the Heart, Art Center and Gallery. And I started it when I retired from teaching, and all my art collections are here. Well, most of my art collections are here. And I like to teach students who are 2 to 102. And they usually come, and I walk them around and give them a tour, and they get to choose what they would like to do. And I was a Montessori teacher, so I believe that when work is chosen by a student or artist, it's more meaningful. This I call the dancing tree.
I like it.
And then over here, look how little the people look under those trees.
They look
I'm so amazing. And that sculpture in the back is, I love recycling, so I love the way the artist used old metal to make that. I'm just about to be a golden roo, so there's a golden kangaroo, Texas longhorn, and this is one of my favorites. It's a Sherman Bearcat eating a Denison Yellowjacket because we are competitors in all the sports. So it's going to be a great day having you here to work. Chris is a wonderful volunteer. He loves to work with students, and he's even come with me when I was a substitute teacher to help as a volunteer in a public school. But he displays his, actually I call them sculptures. He took what I did in elementary school to make lanyards, and he developed it into sculpturing.
Just bring it over like you're...
Okay.
And what do you do with this one? You remember?
Over the river and through the woods.
You got it.
What he uses is a plastic string called Rick's Cross lacing, and it comes in so many colors. He donated almost every color here to the art studio, so we can choose from black and white to all the colors of the rainbow. Chris has a way of communicating which shows that he really cares about what you think and what you're doing, and we just learned from Chris to be a caring person.
Make your hole with this one right here. And you bring your third one over this, the yellow.
It was not really that easy at first, but it was kind of difficult. Then I got used to it. It's fun and it looks really cool. Maybe I could make this bracelet for my mom because it's Mother's Day weekend.
Well, he's so honest and he's so observant, and he likes to talk to you about what's going on, what I'm doing, what he's doing, and he just loves meeting people. He's an outstanding person. He just keeps on giving.
I wanted to make this film about this guy right here because he's really unique. He is not like a lot of other people. You're not going to go around the world and find another one of these guys. He is one of a kind. And I look at him and I see the struggles that he's had in his life, and it doesn't seem to keep him back from serving other people. You know, he sits in church and he actually hears the message and he wants to live it for real. And when he goes to a grocery store, when he goes to the gas station, he talks to people as if he really genuinely cares about them. And I like to feel that way about myself, but the truth is I'm not like Chris Johnson. I want to be, but I get really mad and I get tired. I'm frustrated. I'm on a time deadline and I'm cranky and I have any excuse to be mean to people. But then there's this guy right here and he's always nice. And that's what's unique about you. Like, you live the gospel. You live the light of Christ. You live just being a nice person. And in that aspect, I look up to you, and I want to be more like you.
They're doing a fiction film about Chris Johnson, which is me.
Camera drawing.
Scene 1, take 33.
All right, hold for focus.
Focus good.
Ready.
You know, they wrote an article about me. I've been making these animals here for over 15 years. It's a real blessing for an actor to be able to find a character that you can really connect with or really feels natural. And this is one of them.
Everybody, energy up and action!
This is my newest creation. No one's ever made this before.
I think of God's love coming through in sometimes some odd ways and sometimes some pretty ordinary ways, some plain ways, even to the extent that probably some people might not notice it.
There'd be a hole here without Chris. I hope that, like any organization, it's not dependent on one person. If Chris were gone, you know, there'd be a hole.
And once you get to know him, and you know how sincere and genuine of a person he is. He's a caring person, giving person of himself, and I appreciate his friendship.
He has amazed me with what he's done. I never would have thought that this sitting by himself and braiding would have developed into what it has.
I mean, he's just a great person. I mean, that really is the best word to describe it. Fantastic, phenomenal, one of a kind.
I think he's an example of God's word, and like a lot of people don't really, I guess, realize that at first, but then when you think about it, it's like all the things that he does are, you know, just to make people happy and really like serve others, not just himself. Like, he's not selfish at all.
He fights through everything. He fights through adversity. He doesn't let anything bring him down. He's always up there. He's always up here.
We have a card that we want to present to Chris as a thank you for letting us.
You want to get in front?
Thank you.
What do you think, buddy? Say something.
Thank you for all your hard work, y'all. And I guess whenever it's published, y'all gotta come to Sherman.
All right.
In a sense, it's a part of Jesus' presence that Chris is offering as a gift to people. And it may not go recognized, but nevertheless it's there.
So So I want to make this film about my friend here because he's one of a kind. And we all need to be more like this guy right here.